I burnt another hole in the carpet with one of my cigarettes again. The light fitting started to spark. I need to tell Tony to fix it. Mum keeps shouting at me for trying to learn to cook.
I watched timber fall from the rafters, which brought down what would have been my bedroom wall, and with it I lost everything I owned, which at that point was largely imitation cars and trains. Now they were almost unrecognisable, burnt and smouldering in the rubble. Burnt, smouldering and almost unrecognisable, just like Christine, who I found amongst what were my toys. Christine was hired to help look after me and my sister, and now she doesn't have any skin. I look to my family, mother, father, and my big sister. I tell them that I found Christine. It's not long past my 7th birthday, and I stood and stared at my family as they stand and stare at what was left of Christine. Not an alcoholic, but on occasion father would pass out in front of the television, a couple of bottles of mediocre red inside him. He worked hard to support us financially, and no one would deny him his well-earned drinks to finish the day, even if it meant his temper got the better of him sometimes, even if he got angry and broke something. Once he'd fallen asleep, someone usually had to pluck the cigarette from his fingers before it got too low and burned him. When I couldn't sleep, I would creep downstairs, turn off the TV, which has turned to teletext, and sit on his lap. If I was lucky, he'd recover consciousness for a moment, enough to put his arm around me, and I'd sleep. Mummy works hard in her study from after making me breakfast and until long after my bedtime. She has a drawer full of spare light bulbs because for no known reason the light fitting repeatedly blows them out. I ask her why she doesn't get Dad to fix it, and she tells me that he's a proud man and that she didn't want to upset him by telling him he had done it wrong the first time. It's easier to buy light bulbs than disagree with Father. I sit on the rug under flickering lights and listen to what she's writing. I don't understand a word, but it's comforting. Alex started mixing together condiments she found in the cupboards when she was my age. When she was a little older, she started baking these horrible concoctions. Mum called a stop to it and promised to teach her to cook actual food the day she tried to fry all the jam with cereal crushed into it, and the house filled with smoke. She never quite got the hang of the gas cooker, and sometimes when Mum and Dad were busy, she'd try making a new recipe, but they'd find out when they smelt the gas from the cooker that she'd left on. I'm watching videos, sat on the floor in front of the telly, and Dad jumps up and shouts, A cigarette falls to the carpet and he sucks his tar-stained finger where he got burned while stamping on the floor, leaving another burn hole in the carpet. After school and I walk into Mummy's study and she notices it's getting dark. She flicks on the lights from the ceiling. She opens her drawer and replaces the light bulb. Alex is arguing with Mum, and the kitchen smells like gas. I turn on the knob on the stove and climb onto the counter to open the window like my mummy told me to if I ever smelt that smell. I burnt another hole in the carpet with one of my cigarettes again. The light fitting started to spark. I need to tell Tony to fix it. Mum keeps shouting at me for trying to learn to cook. It's not long past my 7th birthday, and I stood and stared at my family as they stand and stare at what was left of Christine.